All right, the fourth thing for episode 7. Pippen was the perfect number 2. Scottie Pippen is a great player, top 50 player of all time, of course, and he showed it. That year without Mike, he showed. That's when, in my mind, I began to recognize him as a great player in his own right. Now, I do think that obviously on those championship teams in the first three-peat, he was very good individually. But without Mike, he showed that he was legitimately a top 5, 10 player in the NBA on his own. And so, and I'm going to say this too. We saw what Jordan was saying with Scott Burrell, how hard he pushed him. I've always felt this, just as a guy that wasn't even covering the NBA at this time, watching Scottie develop with the Bulls. I remember just as a high school reporter who would watch the games saying, man, this dude is benefiting from playing with Michael Jordan. Not because Jordan draws double and triple teams and it makes it lighter on Scottie on the court. No, the work that Jordan was leading Scottie to put in off the court, the way Scottie was developing and improving as a player every single year, I could see it. And I was like, it's almost like I see him mimicking parts of Mike's game. And so Jordan's pushing of Scottie, challenging Scottie, pushing him to be great. All of that helped Scottie realize the potential that was within him. And I'm not sure Scottie would have become that guy without Mike. Another reason Scottie was the perfect number 2 was because you saw that he wasn't a number 1. As great as he was the year Jordan was gone, what he pulled in that series with the Knicks, staying on the bench, I mean, that was the ultimate selfish act. And you saw it, Steve Kerr called it, Bill Cartwright. I mean, they all called it. Horace Grant, you couldn't help. Horace Grant wasn't with him, but you couldn't help but call that. And obviously Scottie regrets it, although I can't believe he said if I had to do over again, I would do it the same way. I hope, one thing I hear a lot of people, and I'm saying athletes, I'm sure other people say it, but I hear a lot of athletes and entertainers say, I never regret anything. I never have any regrets. Stop it. You Jesus Christ? You never had no regrets? You never did anything wrong? You never look back, man, I wish I hadn't done that. Of course, we all have regrets. Doesn't make you a bad person. Doesn't make you worse than anybody else. We all have regrets. I got regrets. It's not, it doesn't take away from your manhood that you have regrets. And don't get me, because I learned from it. That's great. Turn that negative into a positive. And yes, we can learn from our mistakes. But I still, and I'm sure you have too, done things I wish I had never done. I regret. And so stop it with the, I never regret anything. Come on, please. Because you want to be held to that type of standard? Really? You want to be held to the standard of perfection? Stop it. All right, so Scottie, that showed, though, that he would not go out on the court. You can even maybe understand why you're upset. And you still go out on the court, though, and run the play, but you pissed. And you deal with Phil after, talk to him after, whatever. But that showed that you weren't built to be the number 1. You were built to be the number 2. Because when you tried to step into the number 1 role and the play wasn't called for you, you went off the handle. And so that showed that. And I think today, and not just today, but throughout NBA history, there have been guys who are great players, all-time great players, but they're not built to be number 1. They're built to be number 2, but they're in the number 1 position. And that's why you see some great players, their teams never play up to their potential, or their teams never are that good, even though they're very talented as an individual, because they're not built to be the number 1. They're built to be a number 2. Okay, so that's what we saw in Scottie. He's not alone. It doesn't take away from his all-time greatness, his Hall of Fame career and all that, but he was a number 2 and one of the best that we've ever seen do it.
For the best access, perspective, and personalities in all of sports, follow us at Fox Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.